hope I am live. Hi, everyone. Give me a second here to get started. Do you hear me? All right. Do you hear me? Do you hear? Good. Can you hear me? Hello? I need a confirmation before I go on live on radio. All right. Hello? I see you. Go. Do you hear me? Yes? No. Yes? No. All right. I'm not going to wait any longer. Hi, everyone. I can't get a definite yes or no here, and you could tell me on the chat. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Thank you all for being so patient with me today. We're starting to do something new here. So I just wanted you to know that I'm sorry and apologize. Please don't ring my phone or send me messages through the phone. Thank you all that are watching. No offense, but it's pretty loud. I turned it down. Do not contact me via phone. Chat with me. That's what the chat is for. All right? Because then it's going to interrupt this important topic that I have for everyone. And I just wanted to say thank you all for waiting for me to start up. I started something new today so that I can give you these visuals. So this is my first live with OBS. Okay. So can you hear me on the radio? This should have been told to me before. Okay, I'm starting something new and I want to start it. As long as you can hear me, I'm going to move forward. I am not on. It says I'm streaming time. I am on. Okay. So basically, hi IAAH Radio Plus. How are you guys doing out there? Thank you for your patience, my subscribers, friends, people that watch me, followers on social media. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your subscriptions, each and every one of you. Happy Saturday, mi amores. And I was thinking of a juicy topic for this Legal Matters month, which comes every end of the month. I will do a Legal Matters show. Know Your Truth Real Talk will be on next week, Saturday at 3. Probably live. If not, you'll know about it. If you check me out on social media, I'll be telling you what's up. I won't tell you the subject till you come in, but Know Your Truth Real Talk will be back next week on Judge Desire for Knowledge TV Talk Radio. Okay, look for that channel and go to IAAH Radio Plus. Download the app and check it out there. You can tune in and listen if you're not at home and get some good stuff out there. All right, so basically I was, thinking, what can I do this month on Legal Matters that's a little exciting, a little bit of what people know about that's going on. So I decided to connect with social media and the media on the next new legal processes that are going on in America. So, of course, we all know what it is, right? Deportation. Unfortunately, for those that shouldn't be deported, and the ones that should be aren't. It's really disgusting at this point, but I don't want to make this controversial. I just want to bring some wisdom to you because I can't bring you advice. I'm not an attorney and I'm not a judge, even though I work in the fields of law. I am neither of, and I want to get that straight here now as an air disclaimer. This is only general information, not legal advice. Laws and policies change and facts matter. So if you're dealing with ICE right now, talk to a qualified immigration attorney. I am just here to give you words of wisdom, all right? What they call to consult, to give words of wisdom, to have you acknowledge certain things, but you do need to check with an attorney if you cannot decipher them for yourself, because the laws are not easy to decipher. A lot of people manipulate the laws or they don't read it correctly if you're not an attorney, and they are actually professionals when it comes to legalese. They know what to do. So in layman terms, get an attorney. I can only give you my wisdom on this, being that, as I state in all my videos, whether it's Know Your Truth Real Talk or On Legal Matters, I get all my information based on my work experience, life experiences, and general education that I got from school doing this. So with that being said, I put it all together to bring it to you so I can help you all some way feel at ease and bring it in layperson terms so that you can understand it. I really try to break it down as basic as possible. If you can't understand, please get a legal dictionary or AI, I believe it is, or Google, whatever they do today. All right, and that should help you if you don't understand something. So back to the subject today on Legal Matters. I am doing ICE at the door. Oof, don't let ICE be at your door. Hopefully never, right? What you can do, what you can say, and what you can refuse to say. So this is the topic for today. ICE at your door. All right, and they seem to be coming to a lot of people's door, and I'm going to explain something about that today. And if they're not coming at your door, they come in other terms, other ways, other means. They're just like seeking people out. I'm going to go through what I believe the procedures are for that. I'm just giving you the wisdom on that, on what their procedures are supposed to be versus what they're doing. All right, so that's why I said it was important for me to bring this show up, because the court system within the United States, each state has their own laws and rules, but exactly the same type of procedures. So if you listen to these procedures that's being done versus what was supposed to be done versus what is being done, you'll understand. So we're going to start with, let's go into the topic of this topic people love to debate until it happens to them. You know, they'll be, oh, I wish ICE would come and take these certain people away, or I wish ICE wouldn't come. But, you know, when it happens to you, your family, your friends, hopefully none of mine, that's when you're going to realize a lot. And it's not an easy task for either side, but I'm not going to say that I'm happy with the enforcement of ICE. ICE is an acronym of Immigration Customs Enforcement, okay? So that's what ICE means, in case you all didn't know. Trump is was processing 75 countries. Oh, okay, so good to know. So getting back to the subject here, thank you for the information. I appreciate that in my chat. So we'll get back to the subject, saying I was just going to say the same thing. I just wanted to explain what the acronym of ICE is Immigration Customs Enforcement, sweeping up illegals. Now, I don't want to call people illegal aliens, because I don't believe that's right. I believe that when you call people illegal aliens, you are violating them in some sort of way. You're alienating them. So I will not call them that. So in my platform today, they're going to be considered foreigners right now, whether they're illegal or not. So if you hear the word foreigner, that's what this country, state, administration, and before that calls. The word that they call them as illegal alien will not be used on this platform, okay? So as far as I was saying, we are seeing all of the United States ICE enforcement sweeping up illegals and American citizens as well. Can you believe that one? Due to the Trump administration. What was supposed to be a task force picking up illegals who are here illegally and who have committed criminal acts, that's who they're supposed to go for, is not what's taking place in the United States. As you can see right now, and I'm talking about the United States. If it's outside the countries, well, I'm not going to talk about that and make this a controversial platform today. I'm going to make it informative, because some people need to know. You might have families outside of the state. And at this point, we all citizens, American citizens, are under attack. So this is all going to apply to us eventually, because they're going after anyone and everyone, it looks like, whether you were born here or not. From what we're seeing. And so with that being said, this is what's now taking place in the United States. So ICE enforcement, I want you to know, is actually a federal agency that conducts civil immigration enforcement, okay, such as arrests, detentions, removals, and who also investigates certain crimes, not all crimes, trafficking, smuggling, human trafficking, smuggling, and some fraud. Okay, this versus police. Okay, just listen to what I got to say. Through different divisions, they have to do it through other divisions, and I'm going to explain that. Divisions like the police, the court, etc., legal divisions. I will discuss in this episode of Legal Matters the rights you have when approached by ICE, whether you are a citizen or not. Okay? Now, what I want to get back to, as I worked in the court these years, and this is public record, ICE has come in. ICE used to come in before this was taking place under a lot of administration, under other presidents, but not as enforced as this president. But I'm going to tell you, when ICE came into the courtroom, they come in and they wait for you. They wait for you outside. And how they know is because the calendars are released, okay, to the ICE when they call or they come in. They get the information so that they know who and when and what case you have coming up so they can meet you there. So let's say you're a criminal on the run. Usually you're not going to make the calendar, right? They have to go get a warrant for you to come in and pull you in, a bench warrant. That's not what this is. What this is that they come and you would never expect it, because let's say it's a traffic violation, something really simple, a civil case, you're going to win money, whatever it is, you're on that calendar and they're looking locally for you, they're going to get you in court. So I'm not saying for you not to go to your court cases, but this is the divisions that they're talking about. They can't work alone. They need other people. Now, the courts itself is there to make sure that these are criminals that you're going after, not regular people. Back in the day, when they used to come into court, before they stopped that for about a year or two before Trump came back, they actually couldn't just do that. These people had to be criminals on warrant, or they were looked for to be, they were rejected. No, they were placed a warrant to have them ejected out of the country, I should say, not rejected. I forgot the legal term. But either way, yeah, this is how they do their work, through the different divisions. And one of them I can vouch for is the court. All right. And so I will discuss what is needed to be known here as your right to know, actually, I should say. So your core rights, all right? Everyone, regardless of status, has constitutional protections, okay? No matter who you are, whether you're illegal here or not, and they fail to tell you this. The courts know this, so that's why you take everything to court, okay? Including the rights to remain silent and the right to refuse consent to a search warrant. So you don't have to allow anyone to search anywhere without a search warrant, okay? In many situations. This is cited by the American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU. Immigration proceedings are actually civil and not criminal, but it's made to look that way now so that these people feel like they are policemen. They're policing, okay? When their only job here as enforcement is to get the illegal citizens, I'm going to call them the foreigners, which is what they're going after now. You don't even have to be illegal. And now we, as American citizens, are in jeopardy as well of being deported to where? Like, let's say you don't have a background of anywhere else. Your parents are from here. You're ejecting us to where? Where are we going to go? I mean, you know, there's some people here that originally called Native Americans, Native Indians, whatever they're called today, indigenous. I didn't pronounce it right, but you know what I mean. So where do they go? I mean, it has to stop at some point, okay? But you can, because this is civil and not criminal, you can always hire an attorney, and it's best that you do so you understand better the difference between criminal and civil, okay? Their civil duties are supposed to be done. So when it becomes a criminal offense, they will come to arrest you under a warrant only. They cannot do so like police can. All right, so I'll get to that. It's very, what can I say? It's not an easy I don't want to go all over the place on this platform because it's not easy to explain all of it. So I'm going to try to take my time. Breathe in, breathe out. Let me get some water here because I want to make sure that I explain it as well as possible without having you all confused. So, in other words, those who have committed criminal offenses differ. So when you have a criminal offense versus someone that doesn't, then there's a warrant to search. They have to do so. But if you haven't had a criminal offense or a warrant against you, there's no reason for them to be coming after you and putting you in any detention, because it's not jail, it's a detention holding cell. This is where they keep all the illegal citizens, but we're now seeing American citizens being held as well against their will, which should never have happened. But anyway, I'm going to let you know to apply these steps only if you are a law-abiding citizen, and I'm sorry, but sometimes you are, and this can happen, or a foreigner, okay? Because it's happening to Americans as well, foreigners. So we're here with you. We got your backs. We know that you've done your work here. You've worked for years here. You've built everything here. You've built America, half of you. And the ones that are criminals, we understand. They need to go. But the ones that have built America along with us belongs here. But that's just me, okay? That's just my opinion. But either way, I don't want this to become controversial. Ignorance of the people is the reason ICE is doing what they're doing. Yeah, because people don't want to find out what's real, what's not real. It's sad, but I'm not going to go into that right now because I have a lot of instruction to give as far as wisdom. Not advice, okay? I'm not giving advice. I want to say that again. Rewind this video and make sure you know that I am not doing this for advice, but just for the fact that you get words of wisdom for somebody that knows pretty much how the system works. All right? All right, so let's apply these to the steps that a law-abiding citizen or foreigner, which they're considering people that don't belong here now. First thing we're going to do is ICE at your home. So if ICE comes to your home, we're going to do the doorway. You should do the doorway rule, okay? 1, do not open the door. Speak through it. I think this has been all over social media, and it's true. Do not open the door. You don't have to do anything. First steps first. Before you find out if there's a warrant for you, this is the first steps. You are not commended. You should not have to be commanded to open your door by anyone, and here's why. Do not open the door, speak through it. Ask if you have a judicial warrant signed by a judge. That's really important. Whether it's judicial, it's still the judge is a judicial person. So therefore, if it's signed by a judge, not administration of ICE, okay? There's going to be a difference. I'm going to show you the difference now. An actual judge, court appointed, voted in judge, okay? Ask them to hold it up to the window or camera or slide it under the door so you can read it. Those are the steps you are to take. You do not have to open the door and ask questions, okay? Because sometimes they will not listen to you asking questions, and whatever the case may be, you open your door, you're subjected to whatever force they bring on you until you get to court. Because believe me, there is justice once you get somewhere, but if some people aren't getting there, as you know, and I don't want to discuss what's happened with all those deaths, because it's coming in sex, races, every race, every sex. It's disgusting at this point. I have to say, Trump administration has done a terrible job so far in the beginning of the new year, and even at the last of last year. Terrible. But that's just my opinion. If you don't like it, you don't have to subscribe to me anymore. But this part is this is just unbelievable what people are being treated like. You know, like I said, if it happens to your family and friends, then you're gonna feel the same way. And until it does, then now you may not. Okay. So administration, this is the difference between a judicial warrant and an administrative immigration warrant, okay? They're both warrants, but there's one difference. The administration has common ICE forms called the I-20 and the I-25. They are not the same as a court judge signed warrant. So I just want everybody to know that. And traditional Know Your Rights guidances has emphasized that administrative warrants do not authorize, I get it again, administrative warrants, not judicial warrants, does not authorize entry into a home without consent. You do not have to give consent to anything that's administrative warrant if it is a judicial warrant signed by a court judge, okay? Because a lot of administrations play like they have judges. I have a show on that. You are not a judge. Go check that out. These are hearing officers, attorney put in place because they either failed to become judges, they weren't voted in, they weren't appointed, and they're not judges. They wear the cape just like a judge. Parking, don't get me started. I can go on. You are not a judge. So immigration has the same type of thing. So they use their administration warrants, playing as if, and they have the legal right to, but you have to know the legal difference, okay? So get educated in things like that instead of social media, because it's going to be needed for you in the future, okay, to know this instead of what song sounds best, what girl's butt shaking all over the place, or a male gyrating. That's not going to be important, people. Let's wake up and see what's important now. Yes, you can have entertainment any way you want, but when your whole life is full on that's all you do all day, now you're staying dumbed down. It's time that people start getting up, start speaking up, start finding out. If you don't want to speak up civilly, of course, if you don't want to speak up, then please get knowledge. Please get the education needed. Come see Judge Desire for Knowledge, my channel. Come check me out, subscribe, like, and share. I'll bring it to you, all right, as much as I can, all right, whatever I can. I try not to be controversial because, you know, things could go both ways. I've worked with police for at least 14 years, aside with them in the courts. So I've met some really good people, and then you got the bad ones. So I don't pick sides, but when it comes to ICE right now, I'm not liking them too much. I don't like the way their orders are being told. I'm sure they're being given force, taken with force or something, because everything they've done has been forceful. But I'm not going to go there because I don't want to say that that's true, but we're seeing it. It's what we see, okay? Well, like I was saying, you do not have to authorize entry into your home, okay, without consent. And that consent would be a judicial warrant signed by a judge, all right? That's the only way. If it's an administrative warrant, I believe the only way administrative warrants do not, remember, they do not authorize entry into a home. So it's not a warrant that says I have to enter your home, so you don't have to let them in. But however, I have heard another story where, if I'm going to get to it, something about if you have had a notice to leave the country, then they can. But I'll get to that in a bit. If you haven't, and you don't know anything about being illegal, because all you know is you were born in the United States, then this is different, okay? News reports in 2026 highlights a leaked ICE memo, if you didn't know, asserting border home entry authorization using administrative warrants, which shouldn't have been used. Now, this is controversial and likely to be litigated. So we're going to see what happens. And the safest thing to do is not physically resist. Clearly state, I do not consent to entry or search, and request an attorney. All right? They cannot take you in, deport us citizens to the USA. Yeah. Isn't that funny? I can't. Okay. I'm just reading from my chat. Ignorance of the people is the reason ICE is doing what they can. Yeah. See, once you know what you're doing, at least read a book, people. Read a book. You don't have to be in law, blah, blah, blah. But get on stuff. Go on channels like this on YouTube, like mine, and people that actually know what they're doing. Try to get a little bit of everything and find out for yourself. Google it, IA, whatever they're doing today. If you don't know, or get Law for Dummies. They have that out there, and it doesn't mean you're a dummy. You're smart. You're attaining information that you need, and if there's no other way, then get it that way. Knowledge is definitely power. Thank you. That's true. All right. So that is if ICE comes to your door. Now, two, if ICE stops you in public, you use the "Am I free to go" rule. And that rule is, ask, am I being detained or am I free to leave? Those are the first things you say, okay? If free to leave, leave calmly, okay? Now, if you're detained, say that you choose to remain silent, because anything could be held against you in the court of law, okay? The Miranda rights when they're arresting you, everything like that. So just follow the rules, because the court comes in. The court is impartial to whatever is being done by the Trump administration, believe it or not, and by ICE enforcement. Just like police, I had a lot of problems when I see police, because they know they have to come before us. And when they come before us, it's not up to them. They have the power outside. But when you come in, we got the power. All right. So that's the difference. And a lot of police don't like that. When they know you work there and stuff like that, they don't like that, because they know that they have to bring in what they've done outside, inside, and we make the decision. The judges make the decision on what it is that you did or didn't do right, or if you did do right. Everything is going to end in a courtroom action. It's not going to be up to the people that have pulled you in. All right. They have to prove themselves that they had done everything possible in the right order and civilly done it, gave you your constitutional rights, read your Miranda rights. Everything has to be done correct. Once you come to court, you miss one little thing, they're loose, all right, whether they're criminal or not. All right, now let's get back to it. So this is when ICE stops you in public. I'll rephrase that, not rephrase that, go back to that. Ask if you're being detained, can you leave, blah, blah, blah. If detained, say, I choose to remain silent. Do not run, do not argue, and please do not fight. Because when you go to court, you fought. I mean, now you're not looking good anyway. I know it's not a good thing, but that's not going to get you to places, okay? And do not present, please, because most people that are not here as United States citizens supposed to carry documents. So please don't carry false documents. Even if your rights are being violated, this only works in their favor, okay? Come on, because it's still going to go to court. Don't forget, there's another stop before. They're not the last say. Don't forget that. They're not the last say. Why make it worse for yourself? And three, at traffic stops, this is how you should be. Provide required driver's documents, because before you shouldn't have to pull over for ICE enforcement in the first place. And if you do get pulled over, or you happen to stop and get pulled over by them, then you should ask, why are you pulling me over? Because I'm not sure if they're able to give you violations on traffic violations or not. But don't quote me, because I know MTA comes in and all these other people with tickets. So for drivers, I'd have to research that. But why would they be pulling you over unless they've been following you and they have a warrant for you? But otherwise, I'm not sure why. You can still say, I'm going to remain silent and I want to speak to an attorney. So provide your driver's license. You know your place. You know you're not illegal. You know that you have your paperwork. If you are, you could ask to speak to a lawyer and you have nothing to say to them. Do not consent to a search, because if you don't want one, you don't have to ask for it. You don't have to accept it. All right. State it clearly. All right. Because this is important. Using the general 4th and 5th Amendment. I am not an attorney or a judge, so do your research here. Okay. I just want you to know that. But use your 4th and 5th Amendments rights, and make sure you don't say much. Just be quiet. Do not fight. Do not argue. All right. And that's for traffic stops. And number 4, workplace enforcement. Now, this one is different because they can come to your workplace. All right. Know these 2 things. All right. I'm going to say it again. These are as important as the I-20 and the I-25s, which are administrative warrants. Well, this is an I-9 document which audits inspections. Okay, so it's a form, a way of auditing inspections, all right, at workplaces, all right? So ICE can inspect an I-9 compliance, sorry, employers have specific obligations to do so, okay, and timelines. So it's not, therefore, this is the law. So this is a government mandated review of an employee form, okay? It's called a I-9, which records its record by the conduct. It's recorded by immigration, conducted by immigration, I should say, and customs enforcement, which is ICE, or Homeland Security, which works in conjunction with each other. Investigations, giving them 3 business days to produce records. Failure to comply can result in several penalties. So what this says is those I-9s go out to the employer because they're filled when you take employment. I'm going to say for government workers, you have to fill that out so that they know everything about your status here, all right? If they're not doing that now, they used to, but I'm sure, because I've been employed for so many years with the same place that I don't remember. But yeah, these are forms that are done when you're hired. They're needed, especially if you're here on not a work visa or things like that. Okay, the employer has 3 days to produce records. Failure to comply can result in severe penalties. Okay, because this is an obligation they have. And the second thing you need to know when it comes to the workplace is physical presence at a job site. Like I said, the physical presence at the court was not for the employees at that time. It was for the civilians, the defendants, the respondents. We have names for each category in law. Respondents, plaintiffs, defendants, anyone that's in the court under that's filed a complaint, a petition, they have names for them. So that's a job site that they can physically come there, okay, because of this I-9. And they can even go take care of people that are coming in your employment as well. So you think. Let me finish. So physical presence at a job site. Common guidance distinguishes public areas as a lobby, because they can't go to private areas really, a storefront, and from private non-public areas, employees only. If they come in private areas, it's the employees only. And that's when they use the I-9 for employees that they believe do not belong in the country. So they're coming there, they audit, they find out how many they come in the private area of the job. That would be for employees only. Otherwise, they would not be allowed to unless the employer gives them that right. They would be in the public areas to come for people like customers, like I just said, and users, court users, customers, and of such, wherever the workplace is. I'm just going to say the public, okay? And many resources advice is that ICE generally needs an employer, okay? They really do, to consent or a judicial warrant to enter private areas. So they can come in the lobbies like they do, all right? And they can do that stuff. But when it's a private area, they need the warrant, a judicial warrant by a court judge, or the employer's consent. The employer is the one that has to give the consent if there's no warrant. And if there's a warrant, they don't need the employer's consent when it comes to private places. All right? Knowledge is power. Get your knowledge. Now, if someone is detained, this is another part. After we dealt with the workplace, traffic stops, your home. Now, if you're detained or someone you know is detained, find out where they are first and don't sign any documents. It's really important that you don't sign anything without legal advice. because you don't know exactly what the legal aspects of the documentation will carry. So if you're good at that, that's fine, but don't be mistaken. There's some of the words can be misinterpreted, not intentionally, but if you don't know the laws and you haven't studied it and you don't have a good vocabulary, you can't read and write. Your language is totally different, and I've seen this in court. Please don't sign anything, okay? Especially when you're looking for someone and you're going to find them and they're detained, your family member, your friends, anyone, partner. Don't sign anything. You're going to need an attorney or some legal advice. What does it say? ICE agents must possess reasonable, articulable suspicion. Exactly. Wow, you have time, huh? Thanks for taking the time to write all of this individualized evidence. Yes, they do. I'm going to go back to my stuff. Don't sign anything without legal advice. Families and lawyers can use ICE's online detainee locator, okay, system, which is called the ODLS. And that system is to find anyone in ICE's custody. All right, so if you don't see the name there, then call the police, the hospitals. Maybe your person is not there. Or you have to give it 24 hours for them to remember everyone has to enter. And some people take a lifetime. I'm not going to say the state, but one state I know, they take forever. I'm not trying to bash them because it's okay. Yeah, they take forever. And it's not New York. Just know that. And it would be smart to carry the papers around, so this way it's not as bad. Even if they do detain you with the papers, you have rights. So when you go to court, just leave it to the courts. And there's no need to get mad, upset, and get shot at, because that's what's been happening. You can't even speak anymore. The First Amendment is out. Freedom of speech is done. I haven't seen it being able to carry out since the Trump's administration. If I'm wrong, okay, I'm wrong, but I doubt it. We can't have freedom of speech anymore. It's been a few years, I think right before or at the time of his arrival. Anyway, I won't go there. But it would be smart to carry those documents, and carrying requirements may apply, so it's good to have them. So when you are answering questions, which you shouldn't without legal counsel, but if you want to and you do have those documents available because you know you're in your right, but you can still assert your right to remain silent and ask for counsel. All right, don't forget that. All right, so I wanted to go now that I've said, first we started with at your door, ICE at your door, ICE at your workplace, ICE at traffic stops, all of those things. And ICE individually detaining people you know. So now we're going to go to the current events as of 1/27/2026. These are the current events that has occurred. I did some research here. A leaked ICE memo entry into homes without a judge-signed warrant, which we said, obtained by Associated Press, okay? Asserting authority for officers to forcibly enter homes to execute certain immigration arrests. So now they're trying to get in without a judge-signed warrant. That's the memo. Entry into homes. They gave out that memo. The Associated Press got it. A leaked memo that now they're trying to go. This is as of now, okay? Without a judge-signed warrant, all right, and forcibly enter homes to execute certain immigration arrests using administrative warrants, not judge-signed warrants. Wow, that doesn't sound right. Usually tied to a final order. Okay, so that's what it is. When that happens, it's usually tied to a final order of removal or reversal of long-standing guidance meant to respect constitutional limits on government searches. So what they're saying is if they don't have a warrant and they have an administrative warrant, they have a right because it's a final order of removal or reversal done against the illegal citizen. Now, when you look at stuff and this can't possibly happen to an American citizen Because how can that be when you've lived here your whole life and you don't know yourself as being an illegal citizen? So that is something that is controversial. I'm not sure what this administration is doing anymore. I do know what they're doing is not right for the people. Aren't we the ones that put people in office here? Yeah, sometimes we make mistakes, people, but we're learning from it, aren't we? I hope we do. Either way, that doesn't sound good at all. That memo got leaked out by the press, which is good because now we know that they're trying to do administrative warrants to go into your home and search, but they're not supposed to unless, now remember, unless you have they can show you a final order of removal. Now everything is in court order, okay? Final order of removal or a reversal of anyway, like if they said you could stay here, you can't now, or you had a final order to remove. You should have gotten that order. They shouldn't have to come to you. Your order should have been sent to you already, either via mail certified. You were told in the court. And if this is true, then you know why they're coming in to search your home. All right. If not, then you can take it to court, find an attorney, be silent, do not speak about anything. Do not say or make any explanations that will get you hindered or in problems. Just be quiet. Why it matters that this constitutional limits on government searches is needed. This directly collides with those long-standing don't open the door, which we just said, require a judicial warrant, which is what we said first, and expect major litigation on this because this is what was required first. Now they're trying to leak out, the memo was leaked out that they're going beyond that, and they're using the reversal and they're using the order of reversal and removal in order to do so without your knowledge. Even if you don't know you have an order of reversal or order of removal, that's not good. That's why it matters that we need these things in place. Expect major litigation on this and conflicting interpretations because this is what's been happening. Everybody's confused. Even the ICE enforcement is confused. I don't think they even know what their job is anymore. All right, but that's them. They need to get rid of the higher up there that is over them. What's her name again? I won't say it on this channel, but you know who. Go do your research. I think she's being removed. She should, yeah, she should be removed. I don't think should resign because then she'll be able to take a pension. She don't deserve that. No. Anyway, for example, ICE enforcement in New York City. I'm going to tell you a story. I saw it on IG too. They took it down actually. So some of you may have seen it and some of you may not. So ICE enforcement went in New York City and went into a borough. I'm not going to mention the borough, attempting to arrest civilians without a warrant. All right. NYPD arrested them, informing them that they cannot arrest without warrants signed by a judge. Okay, because even NYPD is sick of you, ICE enforcement. Meaning the law applies to everyone. Yes, it does. Even NYPD knows that. It applies to them. It applies to you. You're not special, ICE. You're not special, ICE. Just because you are law enforcement does not give you the right to violate anyone's right to due process. Am I right? Yes. Yes. No one has the right to do that. So, because no one has the right to do that, that's when the courts come in. All right? Because not even police. And we're talking about ICE informant who are immigration customs enforcement for civil actions, not criminal. So you're not police. You're going about your job, giving documentation to do something that you're supposed to do and not act like policemen or women. That's it. Anyway, in conclusion, if you are detained, document everything. All right. Get counsel fast and push for a prompt bond due process hearing. All right. Through an attorney, of course, because that's the only way you're going to litigate it correctly. State the current state or city, because Minnesota and St. Paul's actually sued to limit halt and limit the federal operation being done by ICE, describing it as aggressive and disruptive. Filings state it is as a potential unconstitutional outreach, which means that these people are coming out and doing everything against your constitutional laws. And they're not police, they're enforcement. They're supposed to enforce that you go to court and let the judge figure out whether you stay or not. Not ICE, not them. They're not getting it. I can't. But anyway, local politics may change presence and intensity of enforcement, but your individual rights stay the same, all right? Review and always review and verify current guidance. Don't rely on last year's viral advice, okay? Things are always changing. It's up to you to keep updated with what's happening, all right? But what I see that's happening now is that a federal judge, and this is from Reuters News, they reported a federal judge ordering immigration agents to use body cameras in Chicago in October of last year. Now, while they ordered that, more reporting highlights political conflict over funding and oversight on that. So, in other words, they're saying they know they cannot use body cameras in Chicago at this time. So, if it's legal where you are, record interactions. If you can't record and make sure you can, all right, because some states you can get arrested for recording. But if it is legal, record, and if not, record it with a timeline immediately after the events happen, so that you have your information accurate, so that if ICE enforcement lies, which most of them do, unfortunately they're doing it, about how they took hand of the situation, you'll already have it written down exactly as it is. That's what line frame means, right now. Okay, you might not have the time to write while they're talking, but if you're a witness to something, please do so. If you can record and it's the law in that state, do a Google search, find out if you can record before you do. I don't know what state, New York State, you can record. I have a video on another one like that on Legal Matters where you can record. I believe it still stands this year, but check it out anyway. This is where we weigh the scales of justice, which signifies fairness, equity, and equality, and the careful consideration of both sides of a case to reach a just verdict. That's what we do when we do the scales of justice. One that's independent of outside influences. And that's where the court comes in. The court is the outside influence. Independent, I'm sorry. Where it's independent from the police, it's independent from enforcement, and it's independent from Trump. That's why he was tried in the court. I'm not going to say anymore because I've seen the files. But either way, yeah, because no one is above the law, not even you, Mr. President. I guess that's what they call you, but okay. I'm not going to go there. I always say this to a lot of people, and I'm not an attorney, but it's just good wisdom to give this out. I've been saying this for years to people. And I put it in simple layperson terms. Don't misinterpret the laws to work in your favor, but use the same laws they created to work for your favor, to your advantage against those that created them. So those that created the laws, when you see all these other phonies out here telling you this is the way the law works, this is the way it's not true. Don't utilize it that way. Use them at their own game and you win. Believe me, I've done it. Not that I needed to, but if I have to, I do. Yes, I will. I will use your own laws and win because I don't have to manipulate it. I work through it. I know what it is. And if I don't know, I'm going to learn. I'm going to research. And that's what you all should do. Learn what it is you need to know because eventually, once, I hope not, but you may end up in court for anything in life. Would you not want to know what to do? Would you manipulate the process in your favor? I've seen people laughed out of the courtroom. Okay, and it's not funny that they don't know, but they don't take the time. If you don't know, get an attorney that does know, but they can do the process of the legal aspect of it for you, because they do beat them with their own laws, and that's what we need to learn to do as well. So I thank you for taking this time out to listen to this. What is the saying? Procedure and, oh yeah, yeah, Black Law Dictionary is pretty good too. I'm not sure what that spelling I don't know what that is. All right. So, and thank you for the information. I really, truly appreciate you all in the chat. Thank you for that. Subscribe, like, and share. My next legal matters will be next month, which is tomorrow, February. The end of next month, I will see you on another topic here, which I don't know what it would be yet. Yeah, procedural laws. Yeah, that's it. I know what you're talking about. I've been in those books. Black is one of my favorite Black law dictionaries, and all of those books are really interesting. It's a lot to read, but if you have the time and you like reading books, go get those books. They have online ones too, I should say to everyone. All right, so I'm going to end this because I have some indoor grilling to do. It's 5 degrees out here up in the mountains. Got that fireplace going. I hope you guys had your popcorn and enjoyed this session. And next week I'll be back for Know Your Truth Real Talk. So check that out. Another great topic will be there. I won't let you know what it is until you come check me out on IAAH Radio Plus or YouTube to see that. And now I have my gavel here waiting. Bringing you the truth and nothing but the truth on legal matters with me, Judge Desire for Knowledge, is now adjourned. And I thank you all for coming out. Thank you all for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this show. If not, and you don't understand any of this, go back, rewind, and check it out again, the areas you need, but do not keep silent. Like I said, the court is there. They're the last call. They're the ones that are going to speak up for you. So don't worry about it. Don't get into arguments. Don't fight. Hopefully you take the steps needed and we don't have any more situations like we have. Well, I guess, civilly we can join the protests civilly. Yeah, we the people, right? And that's how it should end. I will see you all next week. Thanks for listening. I appreciate each and every one of you. Like, subscribe, and share. And see you back here next week, Saturday.